Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Murugi Ndwiga, and today I'm so excited to be hosting one Margaret Ndegwa, and she will tell us her age and her life story, and there's a reason why I'm this excited to be having her on our channel today.
Margaret Ndegwa. Thank you, Murugi, for inviting me here. I'm happy to be here today, and I can say this was planned by God that I come to this place and maybe discuss a few things about my life.
Somebody told me that you're almost turning 85.
Yes.
Tomorrow you'll be turning 85 on
Yes.
30th August.
Yes.
What would you say has been the highlight of your life looking back?
Since my youth, since when I was born, I was brought up in a family of 6 children by parents who were devout Christians and also become a loving God's Christian. Have been to school. They took me to school at the age of 7. And during that time, education was not very much valued for girls especially. But my parents knew about the importance of education. And I started schooling in a place called Sugar Primary School. I didn't go far because my parents were to move from here to other places, especially during Mau or during emergency. My parents located to Ruiro in Zetra's farm, Zungu, where late after the fight became fierce, I and my siblings joined my parents at Ruiro in a coffee farm. There was no more much education in that place, so we joined the other co-workers in the farm, working as laborers in that farm. There we grew, and later on, after that, because I really loved to be educated, loved education, I started learning through correspondences. I enrolled in many institutions, like one British Tutorial College, and the others I can't remember their names. But I reached KJC. By then it was called Saturday 8, but today is now have a new term.
So you say you went to school till class what exactly?
KJC, that is not Saturday 8.
Standard 8. You reached standard 8.
Yeah, during that time. Yeah.
And that's where...
Which was equivalent to Form 2 of today.
Yeah. So the rest after that you were self-taught?
Yes, yes. So by many, or maybe some institutions like British Tutorial College.
Where you studied what?
Now doing higher education.
And going through the education, you self-taught, what you studied after now relocating, what industry did that get you into professionally?
After that, I also tried nursing, which could not go far. Then I started now doing my own work. I was doing small businesses like selling burger. I also managed to open a small butchery. I was selling meat and many small activities which other women can do when they are alone.
And by the time you are retiring, what were you doing professionally?
I didn't reach that place, that stage, because after my education and after acquiring different skills from different institutions, I was employed in Garissa. Garissa is in Northern Province. By then, Garissa a county council, later municipal council, and now devoted government. And I was employed as a CDA, Community Development Assistant. Later on, I did many other courses in Baseno, GTI, Kabete. By then they were called Jean School, Machakos. And I was able to get promotion from CDA to District Social Welfare Officer. I worked in Garissa County Council from 1966 to year 2000, where I retired after serving for 34 years.
Wow.
Then from there, I started doing small businesses. I mentioned their area. I happened to open a small butchery. I was selling meat by myself. I also had opened small kiosks, Mama Burgers. I was selling burgers and many other items. Yeah.
And how has life been after leaving work officially and getting into now more or less what we would call retirement? How has that life been for you?
I can say because I had arranged for my retirement early enough, I also managed to put up a construction, a plot, where I own about 6 or 7 rooms in Garissa, rental rooms. But later on, during time, the house was spoiled by the floods. But still, they are still there. I few people living inside those rooms. I can now call that part of my development after I retired.
When did you start planning for this retirement life? At what age? Because you look like you've really sorted yourself out in your retirement. When did you start planning for this, if you may?
Because I was a mother and I also become a parent, I started planning for my retirement before I retired. That I can say maybe 10 or 15 years before. Because I knew the time will come and I'll retire. I'd need to have something for my children, whom now also educated. I worked very hard to educate them. They were 4 by then, 1 person, and 3 are still there. They are working, they are happy, and I'm very proud of them.
What's the beauty about retirement? What are you enjoying most at this stage of your life?
Free life, because we are not under any commandment. You control yourself, you do what you want, you visit the places. I also managed to visit outside our country. I went to Britain, I went to Scotland. But when I was working, it's a privilege I will never forget. They took us to a development tour in Sweden. And I also went to Sweden. I was by then working as a frontier with the Kenya Red Cross Society. And they offered a chance to go and visit our other branches in Sweden. Then in Britain, I went to visit my sister. After she invited me, I've been to Uganda, I've been to Somalia.
Wow.
And I still want to explore more.
Where do you want to go next?
Tanzania. Yes.
Maybe your granddaughter should take you there next.
I've been telling her that I want to go to Dubai. And she promised to take me to Dubai and Tanzania. Yes.
I will make her do it.
Sure.
Yes.
I'll be very happy.
So at 85, Cucu Margaret, what are you valuing most in your life right now?
Is to leave legacy to the young ones, like you, Murugi. You are also my shushu. Right now, I'm doing a Siondo project. I'm doing weaving. I wish I came with one of it.
But I bought one.
Yeah, you promoted one. Me, yes. I remember. And I would like maybe to have people who can be interested in learning how to weave Siondos, because it's a project. I'm selling them. Sometimes I get children introduce me for internet. They go to US. and they are giving me good money because I don't keep on borrowing airtime. I want to meet up with my friend, I would like to buy a cup of tea or soda for her. And they really give me, they really support me, those business, business. Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest
So
thing?
I said I would like maybe to have people who are interested in learning, that I can leave that legacy to them, can train them, can teach them, so they become, maybe they become as I am in creating some other people's projects. Yeah.
Do you have anybody, one or two people that you're already teaching this?
I have one who have tried, but because she's working, she comes maybe once in a month during the weekend, but she have not gone so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to have more than
people.
that. Yeah, to
more
teach,
people
to
to
train.
teach.
Yeah.
And apart from that, you said you have 3 children and several grandchildren. What is the one thing or two things, if you can think of, that you're most proud of that you've probably passed on to the next generation?
Sorry, when we started, I forgot to mention one thing, that I've been voluntarily assisting the needy people, aged, orphans, and those who are not able maybe to support themselves. I didn't have a permanent registered home, but I used to keep those children in my house, feeding them, educating them. And I remember 2 of them went up to teachers' college and they become teachers. Some others maybe from our rural area, they from where I was working in Garissa. I used to look for employment for them. And they were employed as maybe clerical officers, messengers in the offices. And they become very, very good people. I'm very proud of them because they still remember I sat there with my little salary I was earning. Yeah.
And now to your children and to your grandchildren, what are you proud of passing down to the generation that is after you?
Yeah, I would like to urge them to remain honest, faithful, and also have fear in God. Because without fear in God, you cannot go any far. And I would like them to think about their future when they grow. Because today you are very young, as you, Murugi, you keep on growing. And when you come maybe to age of 60 or 70 and you have not planned your life, you will regret at the end. Yeah. So.
And speaking of regrets, at 85, are there any regrets that you may have?
No.
No regrets?
No. No.
Anything that you may think of that maybe at 30, at 40, at 50, maybe a situation where you think, maybe this situation I would have handled it better? When you think about it, any situation in your life that you think, were you to repeat it, you would have done better?
I don't think there is time to reverse all those years, because there are many, many, many years. But it is my wish, it was my wish that if I could have gone for the education, maybe I would have become a very big person in the country and also in the world at large, being like an example to others. Yeah.
And when you talk about a very big person, what does that look like? What did you envision yourself to be? What would you have wanted to be as a young girl?
Maybe a person who is working in a very good place, because that can be only be brought by the education. And also maybe like I can remember the people of my age by then were very big senior officers in the government offices because of the high education they had. So I wish I could have been like them, even to be more than them, in comparison.
And if you were to advise your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren right now, what words of wisdom would you give them? Would you leave them
I
with?
would urge them to work hard for your future, and also have that attitude, or maybe assisting other people who are needy, and also meant to be good Christians. Yeah, God-fearing children. Yeah, working hard for their future.
On Christianity, is that an aspect that you've ensured the generation after you has picked up?
Yeah, from my word go, we were brought up in a very Christian home by our parents, and we obeyed and we copied what they were doing. And I can say that's why we are what we are today with other siblings, my sisters. Yeah, who are not here with us.
Are you happy with how your life has transpired till now?
Yes, I'm very happy. You can see I'm happy even now. That's why I'm here with you.
Yes. So, Cucu Margaret, you talked about having raised 4 children. Please tell us your journey about parenting, how you've done it over the years, and what gives you pride right now when you see your children.
Sometimes you can say you are happy, or you feel proud of your children. But what I may be worried to say that when children are not obedient, a parent fights very hard to cope with them. But when you brought up a child of children who are obedient, who doesn't fight, who doesn't do other bad things, like maybe joining bad companies, as a parent, you feel happy and you feel that you are succeeding somewhere.
You mentioned earlier off camera that you were a single parent. How did you manage to do that by yourself?
Because of the discipline I learned from my parents. I didn't go astray from what I was taught by them. I managed to be I didn't mean not praise myself. I managed to bring my children up as I was brought up by my parents, now copying them what they were doing, because they were united, they were not fighting. But when you have people fighting in a home, and children are watching, and seeing what you are doing, you also may become arrogant or copy whatever their parents are doing. So I used to copy my parents, and that's why I brought my children up in a Christian church, as I mentioned there earlier. They obeyed me. They were very good children. They liked the schooling, and also they were God-fearing children. Yeah.
And apart from
unless maybe the challenges because of my educating alone, sometimes I could maybe not have enough they would like to have, but I tried my best to make sure that they are happy, just like any other children. But being a single mother, it does mean that you cannot bring up your family. Because it happens. Maybe your spouse will run away from you, or maybe he can die and you remain alone. What will you do? You just pull up your socks and think how to bring up your family in a good way.
And speaking of taking care of your children, and you are the provider, how did you ensure that they never lacked? Ulijipanga aje?
In fact, I can't say that they received all they would have required, but I tried my best so that I balance. Yeah, whatever I was getting, I was praying for it for them. Yeah.
Maybe just go into the details of how were you planning, like month by month, getting a salary, maybe it's not enough. How are you planning that? Because we just want to hear, how do you plan yourself when you're in this situation as the provider, as the sole provider?
Murugi, you have to be very careful when you're bringing up your children. Like now, as you have just asked me about, maybe I did not have enough. Sometimes you could go even for a year without getting salaries or government county councils. But you ought to plan for your children that they are not going to become hungry. Maybe they are not going to school. You train them in a way that they understand how you are managing for them. Yeah. And I said, if the children are not arrogant, you'll cope up very well with them. Yeah, and with their life.
What were the challenges that you faced back then in parenting? Whether it's finances, whether it's discipline, whatever, what were the biggest challenges for you in your parenting journey?
Challenges were many, because maybe at my age by that time, I would have liked maybe my child to be like someone who is better than me, child. But now, comparing, I know that you are not going to become that person. You try to minimize whatever you have to make your child or children happy. Yeah.
And at 85, you look so strong. What has kept you? What have you done to help yourself be this strong?
You know, to know the secret now. You want to know the secret of this?
Yes, what's the secret?
Okay, Murugi, as young as you are, you take care of your health. Because I try, or have been trying, to balance my eating habit. And that is very, very important. Like I can say, I like green vegetables so much. I don't like githeri, which I got a lot of maize, but I like beans. I eat a lot of vegetables. And sometimes I do exercise when I'm in my bed, in my bedroom. I stretch myself, I move my legs, I move my body, I move my neck. And when I wake up, I feel I'm fresh in the morning.
Did you start at your old age to take care of yourself, or it's something that you started when you were in your 20s?
Now, because I told you that I was working with the Ministry of Culture and Social Services, employed by the County Council, Municipal Council of Garissa, used to do those activities with the community, mostly teaching them, training them. So I started from when I was young, doing exercise. I just tried to control my eating habit. Yes.
Do you exercise now? What's your day-to-day like?
I do every morning before I wake up from my bedroom. Yes. And I do walking sometimes. Maybe I can make 1 kilometer in a day, in the morning when it is not very hot, or in the evening. And I just walk slowly, go and come back in the house.
Cucu Margaret, what are you seeing the younger generation doing that is clearly a detriment to their health?
I would like to start by saying that our young generation, I think from all corners of this world or Kenya, most, they don't want to listen to the old people. They think they are too much no. They even argue with the old people. And also some of them don't have respect. Because I think they have learned so much. They're going to universities. They have got many degrees. They think we, as the old people, we know nothing. And also, wrong company. You don't choose good friends. They just meet. This is my bestie. This is my friend. We meet in college. They ought to think about their future. And also this eating habit. They can eat any food, and they can talk anything they feel like talking. So they should be maybe copying or maybe adhering to the advice they are getting from the older people.
Is there any food stuff that you have not eaten in your life that has probably contributed to your health?
I have not
eaten.
Like alcohol. Alcohol is not good. Yeah.
And what are the foods that are key to you that have contributed to your health?
I can say kienyeji, vegetables, githeri kidogo. I don't like mshere. I don't like chapatis. But I also like eating fruits. Yeah.
And is there any, if I may ask, any underlying health condition that you may be dealing with? Or you have a clean bill of health?
You can't have a clean bill of health. Sometimes you have a headache.
No. I'm just saying, maybe pressure, maybe diabetes. Do you have that?
Yeah, I remember when my daughter died, that was in year 2011, I developed hypertension, which I'm able to control even now, taking medicines. Yeah, but I never experienced any big health problem. That was attributed to the death of my daughter. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you cope with that? What's the coping mechanism for a parent, if you allow me to ask, and if you're comfortable talking about it, coping mechanism on losing a child or a close person in your life?
It really hurted me because at her age, I don't think she was to go so soon. And I think it is even the same reason why I developed the hypertension after she died. I still remember I had missed her a lot. Yeah.
Is there something you may want to add that we may not have touched about? I mean, being at 85, you're parting short, nugget of wisdom, something you'd want to say at this point of your life to advise other people, whether it's women, whether it's men, whether it's children, you're to show.
Okay, thank you. I'm passionate to advise the young people, mostly the children, because they are the future generation. And maybe what I like to ask them to stop doing is to drink it too much and also smoking, which is also ruining their health. And we need the future leaders. We need to have people in our societies. There are sometimes I see as if maybe Kenya can become back to colonialism if our children are not very, very, very careful. But they keep on, dying, committing offenses, killing each other without any good or proper reason to do that. So they should know that we need them to take the places that we are leaving behind, to be good citizens, to be good example to other countries, even other children in other worlds. Yeah.
Would you say compared to, sorry, I know we were wrapping up, but compared to how you grew up and our country back then and how it is now, what would you say about the current situation of our country?
Today it's worse.
Because of what?
Because I mentioned about our children, not adhere to the God's teaching, not even listen to their children, and to their parents, and the many other bad things which are happening are being done by our children. Yeah, they should be a good example. Yeah.
And if there's one thing that you would advise for this to change, what would be that one key advice that you would give for this situation to change? Where does it start?
That can only maybe go back to adhere to God's doctrines, maybe being God-fearing people, people who are respected. They can also respect, but can also be respected. People who can keep their word. When they say no, is no, and yes is yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Cucu Margaret, for coming on the show. I really appreciate. You've been the oldest person to sit on this couch and to grace our channel at 85. And I hope what you've talked about and what you've advised us and what you've advised even your third, fourth generation, I hope that it will come to pass and we will listen as a generation. And I really appreciate you and God bless you so much. And we are happy to see how strong you are at 85.
Thank you, Murugi. I feel greatly honored. Appreciate. Yeah, thank you.
Asante sana. So when you know better, you do better. May we do better in our health, in our parenting, in our professional life, as Cucu Margaret has advised us. I hope we picked one or two things from this episode. Please tell us what you've learned in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, have a good one.